Big Talk Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg. This is Chris.
This is Greg.
And that's Greg with 3 G's, 1 in the front, 2 in the back. Back for the attack.
Hell yeah.
And this is Mr. Big's Lean Into It. Track 1, Daddy, Brother, Love a Little Boy. The electric drill
Love
song.
it.
Let's talk about it.
This is one of those songs that I love how they started off it. That the title is Out of Control, but song starts off great and good. You know, this is their second album. Did you hear any of the first album?
I have heard it. I did not go back and listen to any of it before this.
Yeah, I remember buying it, and like 30 Days in the Hole was like the big song from it. But there was nothing that really grasped me to that until this album came out.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Because it came out, and I didn't hesitate to buy it. And once I put, and that time of CDs, when I put that CD in, dude, grabbed me, made me fall in love with it, go like, this is some crazy this is definitely better than what they pulled out.
This is, the more I listen to this album, the more I appreciate it, how great it is.
Yes.
It's unfortunate about the time it came out, but man, these 4 guys.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay, go ahead. Finish your story.
These 4 guys they were made to play together. It's almost like Damn Yankees.
Okay.
Those 4 guys coming together was like amazing.
Okay.
Mr. Big, these 4 guys coming together, amazing. And I think it was right people, right time. And they're still out there. Pat, unfortunately passed away, but the other 3 are still out there. So, but man, it's like all the stars aligned for these guys. And I know they kept making albums. I'm not saying they only made 1 or 2 albums. They kept making albums. But them coming together as a band, some of the greatest musicians in rock coming together and doing something wonderful.
So you did mention of the time it came out. Why was that? Because this album was successful.
This album was very successful, but the follow-up wasn't, because of the grunge coming in. They kind of cut them short. Take this album 2 years earlier. It probably would have been bigger. They probably would have had a follow-up album that probably would have done great things. But everything happens in its time. So maybe this was the proper time for this album.
But yeah,
to come
you're
out.
bringing woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Through anything even we go through, Chris. I mean, maybe the previous our Avenged Sevenfold, our episode that's done the most, right? We did it because we wanted to do it, and we didn't know if it was gonna get 3 listeners or get 1,800.
No, all I'm saying is that I wish there would have been more of a push on their albums after this.
Okay.
I wish this would.
Okay.
I wish their popularity would have. All I'm saying is I wish their popularity would have been bigger years before this. This album came out years before this, or they had other stuff that came out and then this came out. I just wish they would have had a longer time of popularity. I think, when you're being pushed by the public to be at the top of your game, it is easier to get to the top of your game. When you see things waning and grunge coming in and the popularity is not there, there's going to be times where human nature is going to kick in and you may just kind of mail it in.
Yeah.
Do I think these guys necessarily do? I think these guys are some of the great musicians in rock, so probably not. But I think maybe they weren't given the money. They weren't given, the Alice in Chains and the Nirvana money, the Pearl Jam money. They weren't getting the money, the studio time, the production, and all that stuff that they would have gotten years before.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying is that I wish it would have been better and bigger and longer.
So the album after this, it did get that push. I understand your point of view on that one, but it
had
didn't
a cover
get,
song.
It didn't. Yes, it didn't get the where it should be, and I agree with you on that one. They got it, but they didn't get the shiny nickel along.
They weren't on the Bon Jovi MTV rotation anymore.
Exactly.
Track 2, Alive and Kickin'.
Oh my God, great song.
Let me say something right off the bat. All of these songs are at least, there's nothing on here I really don't like. So they're all at least good. Good, great, phenomenal. Those are that describes. So
okay.
You're not going to get anything from me. We may disagree on what one we like the best, but yeah, this is great, dude.
I'm going to say the second half of the album was a little stretch for me, but I do, like I said, doing homework and listening, like I said, if it can give me an earworm,
Mm-hmm.
I can change my point of view on what I thought this song was, and this song.
You know,
took a second, but this is one of my favorite songs.
I get what you're saying, but sometimes I listen to it, and the deeper in the album I get, because sometimes you really want to get a feel for the album, the flow of an album.
Yeah.
So I hesitate a lot of doing shuffle or mixing up the order because I want to get the feel of the flow.
Okay.
So I know what's coming up next. Get that feel
Yes.
of flow. So obviously I'm going to hear tracks 1 through 5 or 6 more times than I'm going to hear, 5, 6 through 11. So I think that kind of lends itself to like, it's okay. But when I get deep in the album, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, this one's awesome. Oh yeah, I forgot. Because I've heard, Greed Tinted 60s Mine or Alive and Kicking 7, 8 times, but I've only heard a little too loose, like 3. I'm like, oh, I forgot. This was really good. The solo's amazing. Like,
Yes. Okay.
you kind of have to get refreshed on it, but I get how you could kind of, because the second album, second half, it's not as not intense, but it's not as electric
Yeah.
as the first
There
half.
you go. Thank you. On that one.
I gotta say, this is one thing that if I didn't talk about, I think I would be doing a disservice to this band. And I really want to talk about this. So I was watching all the videos on YouTube. Did you watch the videos on YouTube?
I haven't seen them recently.
Okay, they're okay. I will tell you this though. There is, if you go to the Mr. Big YouTube page, they have concert from Tokyo,
Oh yes.
1991. Did you watch any of that?
I saw a little bit of it.
Oh my God, you guys. That live performance sounds better than the album. Dude, Paul Gilbert's guitar playing phenomenal. Billy's bass playing phenomenal. Dude, there are times where all 4 of them are singing and it's like
Yeah.
better than what you're hearing on the album. I couldn't believe how good it sounds. And I can't believe that the lead guitar player, Paul, is actually doing background vocals. That usually is not a thing. Slash doesn't do it. Angus doesn't do it.
Okay.
Eddie every once in a while. Your big time guitar heroes, and Paul Gilbert is a guitar hero. But dude, phenomenal vocals.
Yeah.
Him and Billy and Pat.
Yeah. I'll agree with you on that, man.
They were amazing. I had to talk about that. That if you guys can go back and check out that concert, it's great. These guys are amazing, and they just look like Paul and Billy look like they were. God said, "Billy, Paul, now go find each other. Go find each other, please," because they were made for each other. Them on stage, they look like they're having the fucking time of their lives.
Yeah.
Which they probably have. I mean, this is feel good rock and roll right here,
Yeah.
dude. And Eric's vocals are just.
But I mean, you also in Japan. They were big in Japan.
They are still huge in Japan
Yeah.
to this day. Budokan style.
Yeah. Still. A lot of these songs are not super radio friendly that I can listen, but they're really deep, and you can really tell that the musicianship is on point for this shit.
They are not necessarily radio friendly. They are not necessarily hits, but almost all of these songs are when they came on, you're gonna give a little volume nudge.
Yeah.
You're gonna give a little move on their volume and cruise down the I-5 at 20 miles an hour or whatever. As fast as you can get on the 405 at 5 miles an hour. Yeah, dude, these a lot of great cruising songs on here, I guess you could say.
Definitely.
Green Tinted 60s Mine, which is track 3 right here. I believe this was this their second release? Yes. This song, I think, is the one song that I think is the most polarizing. People either love it or they don't.
I've never heard anybody hate it.
I will be honest with you, I was not a huge fan of it initially when this first came out. I was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, you hear, Daddy, Brother, Lover, Little Boy, and you're like, that's killer. And then you hear this and you're kind of like, but it grows on you, dude. This song grows on me, and now it's one of my favorite songs that they do.
I was gonna say,
I think it's great.
From the moment I heard it, I loved it. The weird sounding, the guitar effect to this. It tells kind of a dreamy story, and I don't know. I think the lyrics do very well. It makes me feel I'm in the early part of the 60s type of, a little bit swinging. Ooh.
Yeah, I think it maybe surprised me.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting the sound because it is a little bit of a throwback. The lyrics, about, a woman kind of reminiscing about her glory days back in the 60s and wishing she could go back. And I mean, everybody wishes our glory. I'm living my glory days right now, dude. My glory days, I'm just getting warmed up.
I couldn't tell you in my glory days, dude. I'd probably say 40, so I'm about a decade behind.
1940s.
Thanks, Chris.
Oh, God. How old would that make you? I'm not going to ask. We are not going to do a math session here on the Big Talk podcast again.
It would be in the 80s.
Yeah, I think this is a great song. Great song. Their second release in May of 91. So they had March of 91 with Daddy, Green Tinted 69, May of 91. And this one, gave them a little bit of a push because
it was even a music video, right?
Yeah, they had a video. It was one of those, like, it was not black and white. It was color, that overexposed kind of in-your-face color, with the guys playing. Eric wearing his silky shirt he's always got. And, kind of video, montage with the woman and stuff, kind of, artsy looking kind of a thing. Almost reminds me of something like Enough's Enough would do. Like a video like they would do. Great, dude. Loved it.
You want to go to the next song?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Yeah.
Track 4. CDFF, lucky this time. CDFF means CD fast forward, which is the sound you heard there at the beginning. Woo! This is good stuff right here, dude.
This is another good song that took me. It was like Green Tinted 69 and this and back to back. I love this song too.
It's got that like Billy's really holding Billy Sheehan is his bass is really, he's phenomenal.
Well, why don't you talk about some of the players right now? Who are the guys about? Who makes up Mr. Big?
Okay, let's go. We're gonna go Eric Martin, lead vocals.
All right, now
hand claps.
All right, Eric Martin. What did he do before Mr. Big? Right, he was just kind of a solo artist, right? Or was he in a band that did something? It wasn't.
Yeah, he was kind of like his Eric Martin band.
Yeah.
He kind of did his own solo thing. Then we got Paul Gilbert.
Yes. Racer X.
Guitar player, phenomenal, like prodigy, young guy, came up amazing. Racer X, he obviously Mr. Big. He was also in a bunch of bands, Black Sheep, Sea Monsters, Yellow Matter, Custard, shit like that. But Racer X was the big one that he was in. And he really, and that was a shred. It's a shred band. And he really had to kind of bring it back a little bit. Obviously, for this band. But there's still glimpses of his effortless shredding. If you go watch that live show, the Tokyo one I was talking about, his shredding, it's effortless. It's effortless, dude. And I love it when guys don't even have to look at the guitar and they're like a Steve Vai.
Yeah.
And they're just like this and they're just like shredding. You're like, what?
So
amazing.
We got
Billy Sheehan.
Billy Sheehan.
He played with David Lee Roth.
Well, we're talking about before this.
Yeah, David Lee Roth was before this. Yeah, David Lee Roth was before this. On his soul, I think he played on the EP,
correct,
Eat 'Em and Smile, and I think Skyscraper. Yeah. I think he played on those. And that was, I think that, because I was so young, that was my first kind of, first time I ever knew who he was when he was playing with David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
I know he had done some other stuff.
He did
Talus.
That was like the big 70s type band that Lee did. I don't know if they had any hits, but it was musician. I think.
Like a Dream Theater or something, like an old school Dream Theater.
And then the drumming was done by
Pat Torpey. Unfortunately, passed away in 2018. This was really like his big thing. So.
Limelight thing. Studio musician, correct?
Yeah, he played, with bands, Mike and the Mechanics. He played a little bit. He did some touring with Tina Turner, played on some of her stuff. Robert Palmer, Belinda Carlisle. He was like your studio drummer, your touring drummer.
Yeah.
One of those guys that's just like Mr. Reliable. Man, he's got vocals though, dude. He's kind of like that. Okay, we got Eric Martin, phenomenal vocals. We got Paul Gilbert, phenomenal guitar. We got Billy Sheehan, phenomenal bass. Now you got Pat. He's like the thing that kind of tied it all together. His tight drumming and his vocals are just phenomenal, especially in those live shows. His harmonies, he's just amazing.
He paired very well with Paul Gilbert and Billy Sheehan.
He really he really kind of tied it all together. I think they probably would have had a little bit of a different sound without him. I think without any of them, obviously, but and he's great. Voodoo Kiss, track 5, thoughts?
This really takes me for a little bit too, in the sense of this is more bluesy rock, and they kind of went for it, which is probably up more Eric Martin's alley than anything.
I can dig it. This is one of those ones that's good. This is probably one of my lower down the line kind of songs. The bass, once again, it's Billy's just grinding away here on this bass. About being down in New Orleans, the voodoo area of America, and just falling for a woman who's putting you under a spell with her voodoo kiss. I guess I got to pull back. It's okay. It's probably one of the.
This still is one of those, but like I said, it does have a really, really, really bluesy sound.
Yes,
and that's what it kind of goes
like a southern, deep South blues kind of. The sound goes along with the title and the topic of the song for sure.
Correct. It does one of that one, but like I said, is it one of my favorites? No. Listening to it, yeah, I'm good.
It's okay. I'm ready to go to the next one. Actually, that's how much I'm kind of like. We gave it a good minute 45 seconds. Never say never. We got Rambo over here, the Big Talk mascot, coming out over here.
The start of this song is not really my favorites, right? It's going. Once it hits the chorus and starts saying, never say never, that's when the song for me is catchy and I dig that groove. But the beginning part of this is kind of not really grasping me in. That's how I felt.
It kind of almost as if you listen to it deep in the music. You can almost hear like an acoustic guitar sound back in there. Like they got the electric, they got the acoustic. Obviously in the studio you can play 1,000 guitars if you want. So it's got a little bit of a different sound. But I would have to agree with you. That doesn't do enough for me to make it like, until you hit the chorus, dude, which I love this chorus, dude.
Yeah. Here we go. See, it hits up and the groove now is a little different where I'm really instead of catching me from the beginning, how like we said that with the few episodes ago, Billy Idol, how there was one song and we kind of just said, I'm not really liking the beginning. It's song 2, Daydream. And it started off where it didn't start me, but once I got to the chorus, I was like, oh man, I love it. So to me, the chorus makes this song.
Yeah.
Which is, good enough to make me, okay.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. It's okay, but the chorus is, this song's all about the chorus.
Yeah.
I'm down with it. I'm ready to go to the next one, though, dude.
Sounds good, man. Go ahead.
I'm gonna get tender right here.
Was this a single?
I believe it was.
I think it was. Because they went,
Yeah, it was. It was their 4th single.
Record company trying to cash still in on that.
Yeah. I love this intro, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now you love intros.
This one I do. See, it's not its own song. It's intro into the song.
Just nice and slow.
I don't think that it's enough to be like a standalone. Like, hey, Paul, here, showcase yourself. If he would have been a showcase, it would have been something different, I think. But it goes great with the song.
And I think Eric Martin's soulful singing works very well on this one.
Yeah.
Like he says, he's not a screamer in that sense. He knows how to control his vocals on what he wants to say and what he wants to do. And it works very well for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember when this is totally off subject. Remember last time we were doing our recording? Obviously, we're on TikTok.
Yeah.
We're live, and we're doing our YouTube video. I got to do the slidey into the picture thing that it won't let me do on my computer, so I got to grab my phone. So I'm just letting you know what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah, I just had to do that.
I got to do like the
touch kind of stuff. I think this is a great song, dude.
And there we go. Think we're
Heartbreak
good.
and Sorrow.
There we
Yeah.
go. Ugh. And we're back. There we go.
Just Take My Heart, Rambo.
Just Take My Heart. Great song. Release number 4.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think this is kind of a. You can hear Rambo drinking his PBR in the back out of his bowl. Some people think this is kind of ordinary or like it's like a regular ass power ballad. What are your thoughts on that? I don't think it's so regular ass. I think it's pretty good. Power ballads are power ballads. I mean, it's about love.
Yeah.
It's about, like he says in the beginning, where's our yesterday that we could use it right now? Okay, if we can't go back to yesterday when we were so in love and you are going to leave me, take my heart because I'm not going to need it anymore. That's awesome. Like, that's great lyrics. That's really good songwriting right there. And, man, I love it. Love this song.
Thank you for hitting the nail on the head on the description of that. Yes, is it one of these big ballads that, deep into it? No, but I still think the song works very well, and that's what I really like about it. Yes, it's cool. It has a meaning. Heartbreak, sorrow. If sometimes people just need to hear, hey, you know what? Just, I'm done. Take my heart. We're done.
Yeah.
And Eric Martin on writing the lyrics said it correctly. This is awesome.
He did a great job on this one.
Why don't you go and take us, man? Take us to the next one.
Baby, to my heart. Sorry. My kind of woman.
So, going back to the bluesy sound, this is kind of the wanting to do something different. This isn't one of my favorites, but I thought it was okay. I like the idea of My Kind of Woman. They talk about, her being a little crazy, a little raspy, a little different. Just, I don't know. The whole thing in general isn't one of my favorites.
I could see that. I could go along with that.
Yeah.
But Eric's vocals are just killed. His vocals are phenomenal on everything, dude.
His vocals are great. We're not complaining about how it is and how it sounds and what they're doing. It was just, in general, this isn't the flow of the album that I want to hear from the guys. Like, granted, Chris, we don't know what it's like to make a song. We don't know what it's like to be a musician.
No, we don't.
And put our time and effort and love and heart and soul into songs.
We put it into the podcast.
We put it into the podcast. And people can rip us apart. Oh, those two guys. Oh, they stink. Oh, those two guys are always negative. Those two guys always agree on everything. I mean, they could.
Yeah, you agree on everything. Go listen to the last episode on Diver Down, Van Halen's Diver Down. And I'll also say this. If you got a problem with us and our podcast, you can go get your own damn podcast.
Some people don't know how. They say, I don't know how. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about.
Whatever you want to talk about. Pick anything, I guess. We talk about music.
We can talk about makeup.
Talk about music and the jibbity jibbity.
You want to bring me the next song? Sorry about it.
Yeah. A little too loose. What do you think about this whole like intro right here? The
Sounds like Billy Sheehan and got a little hold of David Lee Roth, man.
Yeah, Billy Sheehan, dude. I didn't know he was such a great vocalist. Like the singing, I keep going back to it because that's when you really can tell how good people are. His vocals are great. Sometimes it's just him and Eric singing together, like. But man, that's great. We're just assuming it's Billy. I am, but I think it is Billy.
That low end we'd have
Yeah.
to. We know he has a deeper voice.
This song was written exclusively Paul Gilbert. It's got a dirty groove, dude.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. It's not one of my favorite. Like, this is one of those songs where you're like, oh yeah. And you just find yourself doing this. Like, isn't that ding, 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 ding? Yeah, it's just dirty. It just grinds away and just.
And his, like you said, his vocals are very soulful. Soulful, bluesy, dirty, sleazy rock.
Yeah.
It works on that one.
Oh, it works great. And it's kind of nice how he's got a little bit of rasp on his voice.
Yes.
We're not talking Tom Kiefer wrath.
Yeah.
Eric Martin a little rasp. It fits really good in
Yeah.
this song, dude. I think he might have just turned it up. Just give me a little more rasp on this one, a little dirtier on my vocals. It's going to fit right away with the way this song is playing. And it just fits in seamlessly. Love it. Just, yeah, dude. But I could see how after, I would say, okay, the first 4 songs, killer. All the way through Lucky This Time. Voodoo Kiss is okay.
Yeah.
Then Never Say Never, like we were talking, the chorus is really what holds that song
The whole together.
And the rest of the song is good enough for me to wait for the chorus,
Okay.
if you will. Just Take My Heart, great power ballad. And then you kind of come to My Kind of Woman and A Little Too Loose. So I could kind of see how the second half of the album kind of goes.
The energy.
I can kind of see it, yes.
Yeah.
Or I see what you're saying, and you can feel it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the next song, but
Let's go to the next one.
all right, let's go. Road to Ruin. Now they do this song on that live show, and the live one is better than this
Okay.
for sure. That whole like acapella intro they do it and they sound amazing. That's kind of where I was like, wow, these guys sound great.
They know how to work it.
Yeah.
Like I said, this song, like you said, still in that bluesy rock, but I mean it has a little more fun groove on attached to it and stuff like that.
You know, you kind of get with some of these songs, you kind of get a theme. Voodoo Kiss, you put me under your spell with your kiss. You kind of have me now.
Yeah.
Then you got Road to Ruin here, which is like, this woman is like making me do things I would never do, going down this road I would never go. Oh my God, she's kind of got this spell over me, and I got this road to ruin where I would do anything for her, and all these other things I'm going to put on the back burner, friends, family, things I want to do to be with her. That's kind of the feel I get from this song. And as much as people may say no, I think everybody, men and women, could relate in some way to this song.
That is
It's kind of like
correct.
you almost lose yourself because you care for someone so much, but not in a good way, in a way to the detriment of yourself and maybe people around you. That's where
That's a good explanation of that, man, on this. So
Love the melodies right there.
Exactly.
The vocal melodies are killer.
that's what I'm saying. That's why on the set, like I was telling you, the second half of the album, wasn't doing like a whole lot of wow. I powered through it to get to the end, but some of these songs are still good.
This one gives me a little pep, dude.
Yeah.
It's got those vocal harmonies that they do so well. Paul's gonna come in. Solo started. We can't go to the next song in the middle of a solo. Either switch it before the solo, or you switch the song after the solo.
Solo.
Or you just talk over it like I am.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Listen to that, dude.
Oh,
Effortless.
Gilbert.
That's effortless.
Right?
You just played about 3,000 notes right there in like 1 second. Headphones, dude.
Headphones,
You can really
baby.
hear that shit. That's good stuff right there. I don't know, man. You ready to go to the last track here? You guys have all been waiting for it. You guys have been on your toes, salivating, drooling, wanting and yearning, needing this last song.
Well, this is it. This is the song that, the big hit and made it start going. And is still in that classic acoustic sound, which in the early part of the 90s, right? That was selling. People were like, hey, we can still rock, but we can come out with acoustic stuff. Same thing. Beautiful love song, Mr. Big.
This was the last song recorded for this album, and it was inspired by a schoolgirl friend of Eric's that he knew. It's kind of what inspired him to write the song, and this took them from Mr. Big, yeah, they got some stuff, to like everyone in the world knew this is a perfect example of a band in one song going from, okay, yeah, Mr. Big, they're good, to worldwide sensation everywhere.
So, you know what I was going to tell you? What made me think of this too was this is very much more like extreme, more than words, right? That song took them to the stratosphere.
Didn't they come out about the same time?
And this song, came about the same time.
So Eric was working on some songs, and he had this little like piano part at the end of like a cassette, and he sent it to Billy and Paul, and they were like, wow, this is really good. We need to make this as a song. That's how it kind of, the process did. I don't know how, blah, 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 blah. Became their biggest song, best song. Let me give you some factoids.
All right.
Hit number one, obviously in the U.S.
Woo!
Their only number one hit. Hit number one on 15 charts throughout the world.
Nice.
Sold 500,000 copies, this single. For 1992, it was the number 12 best-selling single in America.
Nice.
Now, here's one that, when you think about it, kind of blows you away, especially since this was so early in the 90s and how much music changed. For the whole 90s, it was the number 90 selling song of the whole decade, which kind of makes you go, wow, dude. This music was huge, because think about all the music through the 90s, the grunge, the rap, the hip-hop, the R&B, boy bands, girl bands, all that stuff that happened. I mean, it really shows that these guys are great songwriters. These guys are great performers. These guys are great musicians, and this music really is timeless.
But you're looking at it, too, is a good song is a good song.
Yeah.
Whether it's however you want to categorize, country, rock, rap, or vocals.
And I go back and forth on this. Sometimes I'm like, I love it. Sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, this would be the overplayed one, where I might be like, I watch his music video. The music video is terrible. Billy's in the back, like lip syncing the vocals. And it's like, dude, he's not even singing probably. You know, we're coming down right on the last, 20 seconds now. Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg. TikTok, Instagram, @BigTalkCG.podcast. YouTube, the Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg. Greg, take us out.
All right, guys, this is Greg for the Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg. See ya! Take care.